Alright, hello everybody. Please drop down in the chat if there's any audio issues or anything going on here that needs to be fixed before we get started. Let's go ahead and get started here then. I think this overlay on the screen might be a little big, if anybody wants to give any input on that. But I am going to make it a little bit smaller here for you guys. I feel like that might be better. Alright, yeah. So as you can see by the title, we're going to be just doing some flying to Boston today in the fly-by-wire A320 here out of Toronto. Not playing on that sim or anything, we're just going to be doing, I just have live traffic in right now. FSLTL, I think it's called. I can't remember the name of the exact mod, but you know, it's just a live traffic add-on, no bad sim or anything today, although sorry about that. I do want to have some live audio playing. Just give me just 1 second here, and we will get going. Suppose we will tune in to the Toronto ground frequency. And if anything's too loud, definitely let me know now before we get too deep into this. Absolutely beautiful here in Toronto right now. Okay, we'll see what that is sounding like.
Sunwing 516, contact ground 12165.
Turn that down just a little bit. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and get set up and get out of here and get our way on down to Boston.
Sunwing 516, hello.
Mute that until we get the plane turned on. Alright. So like I said, it's just a normal flight down to Boston today. Show you the flight plan here. Let's not do it that way. We will do it through charts. Alright, here we go. So let's take a look at the flight plan here. To our fuel, 5,416 kilos. I don't think we're going to be on any departure today. I think we're just on the way out, it looks like. Last time I flew out of Toronto, it was the same thing. Okay. What we're planning for here... Sorry, it looks like I have... no wonder I couldn't find it. I still had my previous flight loaded in here. Let's get that fixed. Alright, there we go. Now we're looking at the right thing. So there we are right there. And it looks like we are going to be on a departure. We're going to be on the Kepta 3 departure off our runway 33 right today out of Pearson International. And then, like I said, heading down to Boston with an alternate of JFK in New York City. So let me pull that off the screen and we can go ahead and get set up, see what's going on here. First things first, let's go ahead and get the batteries turned on. And then we are already connected to the external power cart down there, the GPU. So we go ahead and kick that on, turn on our cruise supply of oxygen, and we are not fueled up, I don't think. Probably should have done that. Let's call our flight plan in. And then let's go ahead and get some fuel here. Like I said, 5,500 is just rounding up. We'll do real time. It's not going to take very long for that to happen because we're just going to be refueling just a little bit. So that will be fine. So we're going to let the refueling start before we bring passengers on. And then we can start doing some setup.
Up 2227 Air Canada 268.
Okay, I'm going to let that finish here really quickly.
Traffic on the left is waiting for you to come in.
A copy, 3466.
Okay, there we go. Refuel's completed, so we'll go ahead and flick the fuel pumps on. And we'll go ahead and flip our gears to nav. Wonderful. And that's going to take a few minutes, 7 minutes for those two to line up right there. So that's fine. Let's go ahead and get started on some other things. Let's go ahead and run down to our checklist here. Let's run our emergency lights, arm those, and then no smoking light comes on. Seatbelt sign's going to go ahead and come on because we got the plane fueled up and everything, so we don't have to worry about anything there. Still had that on from last time. Don't need that to be on. Do better securing next time, I guess. So let's take a look here at our cockpit preparation checklist. So our gears and pin covers removed. Fuel quantity is checked. It's going to be 5,500 kilograms. Seatbelt sign is on. ADIRs are aligning a little bit under 7 minutes, but it's not quite ready yet. But we'll go ahead and select that. Our barrel ref. Let's see what the weather is here today. So we're looking here at the top, CYYZ. We'll go ahead and just read through this METAR weather report here. So Toronto Airport, the 24th, 2300 Zulu. Winds are 360, 12 knots, gusting 17. Which, yeah, is pretty crazy. I know when I flew out of here yesterday, no, when I flew into here yesterday, I think it was gusting like 31 knots or something like that. It was absolutely crazy, but thankfully it was coming right down the runway. 15 statute miles visibility. Clouds are few at 10,000 feet. Temperature 8, dew point -9. And then altimeter 3017. That's what we're looking for right now, is that altimeter. So let's get that 3017 put in for the QNH here. 17.
Do you want to go over meet him or just want to meet him at Alpha 3?
And then let's put that in the standby.
He's not going to hold long.
As well, checking the other side, 3017, we're set. Okay, no issues there.
Just wait until we got the A3.
And like I said, for the wind, it's going to be 360. What are we planning today out of here as far as the flight plan goes? We're planning 33, right? So that's probably going to be good for us. The wind, it's not going to be too bad of a crosswind. It is going to be a little bit, but it shouldn't be anything that we're not going to be able to handle, especially in the A320. It's not going to be a problem. Okay, let's take a look here at how long we got. 6 minutes now for the inertial reference to align. But right now we can actually start loading some passengers. So it looks like we're gonna have 174 passengers today, 3,480 kilograms of cargo. So we're going to go ahead and start loading those guys. We're going to set it on fast. It's going to take about 3 minutes and 54 seconds to do that. We'll hear some boring music and stuff come on probably. In the meantime, we can start setting up our MCDU. But let's take a look at our checklist here. Barrel ref is set, it's 30, so let's double check again. 3017 set on the captain side, 3017 set on the first officer side, and 3017 set in the standby. No issues there. I'll move on to the before start checklist, but we're not interested in that yet. Let's go ahead and get down here to the computer. Let's go SOC, init press, and let's get our flight plan input here. You can see we are Air Canada 1384. I'm actually running Air Canada Rouge today, so my call sign should be Rogue, not Air Canada. But I'm not too familiar with it. We're just going to move on with what it is. I'm not going to change it now. departure Toronto, destination Boston, fuel on board 5.5 kilograms, and then the estimated time en route is about an hour and 7 minutes, so that should be fine, no big deal there. And then let's move on to the init page, and we're going to request our flight plan into there as well. Again, Toronto to Boston. We have an alternate of JFK today down in New York. So hopefully we don't have to go down there because my computer, even I feel like it's pretty good, but it gets pretty laggy with all the traffic and everything down there in JFK. I don't even think I have the world update installed. Cost index of 10, cruise flight level 390 today. Shouldn't be any problems there. Let's move on to our flight plan and let's just try to match what we're going to have over here. Again, we're going to be runway 33 right today out of Toronto using the KEPTA 3 departure with the bumpa transition. So let's do that here really fast. Let's go into departure. Let's go to 33 right, and it's going to be the KEPTA 3 departure and bumpa transition, and we'll insert that, and we can just kind of take a look here. You see, as soon as we take off, we're going to have a manual waypoint, so we're going to have to put ourselves towards that departure manually. And then what we can do, let's go into our charts here. We can go into our charts, take a look at our standard instrument departures. Let's find KEPTA 3. KEPTA 3 departure from runways 33 left and 33 right. And we can just make sure that everything's good here. So we're going to have a manual to come around to Vivet, and then Botib, and then Rickham. And then at that point, you either split off to Wozy, or we just go to KEPTA and bumpa, which is what we're going to do. So we can verify down here. And we can also plan here on our map. So we're going to have Vivet, Botib, Rickham, KEPTA, and then bumpa. And then we'll go direct to Avion, Hank, Punkt, which does look accurate. Direct Avion, direct Hunk, direct Punkt. And then we're going to be taking the J Fund to arrival into Boston today, planning on runway 27. Things could change, but that's what we're going to plan on for now. So we're going to go to the arrival. What runway did I say it was? 27. Okay, runway 27. And it's going to be the J Fund 2. No Vias, no ABBs, right? Okay. So it's going to be no Via, and then the Punkt transition. Let's go ahead and insert that. And then we can, we'll brief that when we're in the air. We're not going to worry too much about that right now. We're going to go to init 2 here. Our block fuel is 5.5, fits 500 kilos. And then we can put in our zero fuel weight, which I think it's going to be 60.6 there. Wonderful. Let's go to our takeoff performance. We're just going to throw in flaps while we're not worry about the temp or anything right now. And we're going to get some of our speeds in. So V1 133, VR 134, and V2 138. Beautiful. Let's look here. We have about 1 more minute into our IR lines here, and then we can get ready to push back and get out of here. I do believe boarding is definitely finished by now. Yeah, we're all good there. We're boarded. We're fueled up. We're ready to go. We just got a couple more things to set up and once the hours aligned, and then we can go ahead and get out of here. Shouldn't be any issues there. So it looks like we're aligned now. We can actually see what's going on. Just the volume a little bit there for now. Okay. Alright. So let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to do the briefing here in just a second. Actually, let's go ahead and do it now. So let's take a look at the departure. So again, what we're looking at here is the KEPTA 3 departure for Lester B. Pearson International Airport in Toronto. Basically what we're going to do here, through right, unless otherwise assigned by ATC. So we're going to climb heading 327 up to 2100 feet. And then after that, we're going to take a climbing right turn to heading 340 and then we can expect radar vectors to vivid. No ATC today, so we're just going to kind of vector ourselves and whatnot. We are going to follow the altitude on the chart though, which is unless otherwise assigned, it's 5,000 feet. So we'll go ahead and get to 5,000 feet there. So that's not an issue. And then let's talk about the actual takeoff. So the takeoff, let's pull up my performance tab again that I just got rid of. So the takeoff would just be a standard left seat takeoff in the Airbus A320. Some of the stuff would vary among different airlines and some pilots and stuff like that, but this is kind of how I like to do it. So pretty much anything before 100 knots, if there's any issues at all, if I'm having any issues with my flight control, something goes wrong with the engine, if anything goes wrong at all with the plane, and I'm having any second guesses under 100 knots, we'll go ahead and just stop it. So I'll apply full reverse to the thrust levers, and then I'll hit the brakes, and then we'll exit at the nearest taxiway. Anything over 100 has to be serious. So if my engines go out, if I have, again, flight control issues, or if I have hydraulic issues, pressurization issues, anything like that, over 100, under 100 knots, I'm actually not going to stop for those. I know I mentioned those, but under 100 knots is just going to be anything. It could be something as small as a random error on the on one of the screens here. It could be my actual flight controls here in real life at my desk going wrong, or if I forgot to do something, we'll stop under 100 knots. But over 100 knots, I only want serious issues to cause me to stop. So like I said, engine failure, hydraulic failure, things like that. No small issues above 100 knots will cause me to stop. Once we hit 133 knots though, no matter how bad the issue is, even if it's an engine failure, we're going to take it into the air because we obviously can't stop at that point. So we'll take it into the air, and the plan will be to come back here to Toronto if it's that bad. If it is something that I can continue trucking along to, then we might consider New York. But if it's very serious, then we'll swing around and we'll come back here. It seems to be a pretty good area with some airports in the vicinity, so it shouldn't matter. And then once we hit 134, we'll rotate and go for 138, get out of here, and transition at 18,000. So pretty standard. There's not really any bad weather today, except for that little bit of wind, but it's not too bad of a crosswind, so I may have to apply a little bit of rudder and some deflection of the ailerons, but there shouldn't be any issues there. So at this point, I think it's going to be a pretty normal takeoff. I think the flight's going to be pretty smooth, and we can only hope that the landing to Boston is the same. So now we can go ahead and get started for actually getting out of here. So let's take a look at our taxi and what we can expect to 33 right, because let's see, I don't have anything pinned. Okay, that's that. Could not get off of that. So let's go to airport info here really quickly. Now let's take a look. So here we are in Terminal 3, and we're going to runway 33 right. Left, right. So there it is right here. So right here in the middle of the tablet. That's going to be our runway. We'll have 11,000 feet of runway there, so there's not really going to be any sort of issues with that. We're going to push back to the left, and then what we'll do, it looks like we're just going to follow, we're going to hop onto Alpha, turn left onto Alpha, and then we can turn right onto Victor. So it's going to be a pretty quick taxi and a pretty basic taxi. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's move to our checklist, our before start checklist. Alright, parking brake I believe is on. It is on. Alright, parking brake is on. Takeoff speeds and thrust, we went over all that. Windows are closed, and we'll turn the beacon light on. So there's the beacon light. And next will be after start. So let's go ahead and get pushed back and get out of here and get on the way to Boston. Jet bridge comes down. My passengers are probably mad at me because there's been no air conditioning or heat on this whole time because I forgot to start the APU. But you know what? That's fine. They'll be alright. We're gonna go ahead and turn that on because I can't quite start the engines without that, so we'll just give it a second here for the APU to turn on. Should only take about a minute and a half, 2 minutes or so.
Canada 187, contact ground 12165. Thank you, ma'am.
And we could even go into third person here and give it a listen. Okay, it's quite loud out there, actually. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I kind of didn't expect it to be that loud with the jar behind me. We could take a look and see what's going on around here. Oh, it's probably that plane taking off. Otherwise, looking good. APU is now running. Let's turn that APU bleed on. Alright, APU bleed is on. So we can go ahead and disconnect the external power. We don't need the ground power truck anymore. We are powering ourselves. Let's strip both of our thrust levers on idle. They weren't, so I'm glad I checked it. Alright, and we're ready to push back. If I remember correctly, we're pushing back to the left, yes. So let's turn the pushback system on. And let's get this tug in here. I need to download GSX back so I get all, you know, the nice and convenient and realistic looking ground services, but for some reason I haven't been able to install it. I'm not sure why that is. Every time I go to start it, it's just throwing me a lot of issues, so hopefully by the next stream or the next video or whatever, that's something that could be fixed. But for now, we're just going to roll with that. Okay, so I believe we are connected here. So we're going to go parking brake off, and then we're going to begin our push back to the back here, and at this point, you know, we're going to be free to start the engines. So we're going to go ignition, start, and then engine 2 switch comes up. So start the right engine first. You can hear those engines firing up. If anything sounds a little muffled, it's just because I do have the headphone simulation turned on. So the audio is simulating as if I had a headset on. I find that to be really immersive because, I mean, if you're sitting in the cockpit of an Airbus A320, you're not going to be flying it without some sort of headphones. Although, you know, once pilots get up into cruise and stuff, they will sometimes take it off and just listen on speakerphone, but I find it more immersive for me. It's, I enjoy it more this way. So we get started on this straight pushback here. Is he going ahead and turning for us? I know sometimes they do, so. Oh, that is beautiful right there, isn't it? Okay. Alright. So it looks like engine 2 is good, so let's look engine 1 on, and let's have him take us to the left a little bit here. Yeah, I've recently kind of dove back into Flight Sim a little bit. I spent a while without playing it, and every time I would play it, I would kind of just mess around. But recently I decided I wanted to try to hop back in it seriously, do some realistic airliner flights and things like that, and I feel like I've kind of found my love for it again, so I intend to be making a lot of content on it because it is enjoyable, although it is time consuming, especially with making content with it, because this flight, for example, is an hour, but of course the stream's already been going for 30 minutes. I know we had the starting soon intro for maybe 5, so we've probably been going for 25 minutes here, and we're just now pushing back. So the flight itself can be quite time consuming, but then of course you have to add in editing, you have to add in actually uploading, and then interacting with viewers that are watching that content, which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. There's nothing wrong. I have no issue interacting with viewers. That's probably my favorite part, is when I'm receiving those comments, when I'm receiving that engagement, because that's why I do it. But it can consume you a little bit, so that's why I've tried to keep this a hobby and not something that I ever wanted to make a job. If it happens, it happens, but as of right now, it's just a hobby, because I don't want it to become that big part of me. I know it has for a lot of people, and that's just not something that I'm particularly interested in. Let's see, so we're going to go parking rig on, and we're going to tell the tug to go back. Is he going to drive, or is he going to teleport? Sometimes he likes to teleport. But yeah, it can be quite time consuming. Again, I don't mind interacting with viewers at all. I have no issues with that. That's not how I meant it. But it can just be time consuming all around, just interacting with the channel, checking up on it, or especially when you spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on content and it doesn't really gain traction or engagement like you thought it would, or the video that you don't spend a lot of effort on ends up putting, you know, a ton of issues, or a ton of views and stuff like that. For example, my Grand Theft Auto Part 1 movie, the Breakout, that I uploaded on my channel. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check it out. It's a 17-minute video that took me 10 hours to make. So it's just one of those things where you put so much work into it, and I'm very grateful for the views that I did get. It didn't blow up or anything, but I'm grateful that the people that did watch it watched it. Because at the end of the day, that's why I don't want to get like super wrapped into it. Because if you get super wrapped into this and you're bent on making it a job, then what ends up happening is when you make that content that doesn't blow up like you thought it should, it really messes with your mental health, and I don't want to put myself in that kind of situation. So I don't even have the amount of viewers on the stream right now pulled up. I don't know, and frankly, it's fine whether 1,000 people are watching it, 10,000 people are watching it, or 2 people are watching it, or nobody's watching it. I might be talking to myself right now. That's okay. I'm just doing this because it's fun, and I hope that increases the quality of the content for people, because I don't try to push certain things to mess with the algorithm. Sometimes you have to, but I'm really just doing this for fun. So I hope that reflects in the content a little bit. But anyways, let me stop yambling here before I run out of fuel. We got to do the taxi checklist and the after start checklist really fast. People in the back of the plane are probably like, what is this dude doing, man? Okay, anti-ice is not going to be needed, I don't think, because we are looking at a... Oh my gosh, look at the wind now. So we have a new METAR in Boston. So in Boston, the wind is gusting 29 knots, and we're going to be on runway 27, so that's definitely going to be a little bit of a crosswind. So we're going to have to plan that, because it's going to be super windy there, man. And that's going to be fun. Here, nothing's changed. There also hasn't been a new METAR here. I don't know if that Boston one is new. I haven't actually looked at it. So if you're staring at this right now and going, that was there earlier, you're stupid, then yeah, probably am. I just wasn't looking at it. So I might be a bit stupid for that, but you know what? Moving on. Let's go to our checklist again. Anti-ice is off. I didn't even check the freaking temperature. It's 8 degrees here, so we do need anti-ice. So we're just going to turn our anti-ice and probe heats and everything on. Anything below 10 degrees Celsius, or if we're going into moisture, turn it on. So at that point, we'll turn on. ECAM status, there was no issues with the engine start or anything. There's just some taxi checklists that need to be done. The trim is fine. Okay, taxi. Flight control, we're going to go ahead and check our flight control here really quickly. Let's get our flight control screen pulled up down here. Yeah, let's get our hands on the controls here. Alright, full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full right, and full left, neutral. All looks good for flight controls. Flight controls are checked. Flap settings, we're going to go ahead and do flaps 1, because that's what we're set up for the performance for today. Radar and predictive wind shear. Let's make sure, I'm just going to set that and set that to 1. It's in-op anyways, doesn't matter. Engine mode selector, that's supposed to be back on normal. And ECAM MO, we want that to be takeoff no blue. So let's see, we need to go auto brake medium. Let the cabin know we're ready to go. Auto brake max, sorry. We'll arm the spoilers and we'll check the takeoff config here really quickly. Okay, takeoff no blue. Ready to go. And then we'll get our lineup checklist ready. And let's go ahead and pull up our taxi chart. And then let's go taxi light on, turn off lights on, and then we can also turn the APU off now. And we'll go ahead and turn, oh, we didn't even turn the nav light on, man. We are slacking today, huh? Okay. Alright. Let's turn our ATC up a little bit. Can hear less of me talking for a minute. And just kind of sit back and enjoy this. There we go. Hang on just a second, guys. Okay. Let's get moving. Alright. There's a park and brake off. Let's give a little bit of thrust. Not much.
And 1 check 1221 over at North Ground. Push it 1221, that's correct, 12165 today. Okay,
I'm trying to position myself. I can see the chart.
Push it 1221.
What do we got here? Air Canada, another A320 or A220? Probably an A320.
No, I said 2739 with you, Delta 5.
Oh.
Push it 2739.
Hold on there, Cowboy, getting a little too quick.
Delta Alpha hold short Alpha Kilo.
Delta Alpha short of Alpha Kilo.
We're just going to be Alpha and then Victor. That should be pretty easy. So not this first left, but the second one. We'll just follow the signs. Shouldn't be too hard to get there. So we'll head on to Alpha, because we're on Alpha Juliet right now, I believe. And we want to turn left here. This will put us on Alpha. And we want to follow this all the way down and then just turn right on Victor, and then we'll be good to go. Let's see what we got around here at the airport. Do some plane spotting. Of course, we have that Lufthansa A350. I didn't know they... Oh, let's make it on the line. I didn't know they flew A350s, so I don't want it.
Bear 5156, ground low, taxi Alpha, Alpha Tango.
WestJet 73. I'm guessing that's a Dreamliner over there in the distance.
9804, contact apron 12227 today.
I'm going to turn right here, stay on Alpha. And then where we want Victor, down here at the end, we're at 28 knots. I'm going to apply the brakes a little bit, try to slow down.
793, monitor tower 1187, see ya.
Apron 12207 today.
Alright. We'll just keep it moving here until we get down. We'll switch to the tower frequency here in a minute.
5156, contact
Is that Cathay's Pacific A350? We have a Korean Air 787 Dreamliner with a Ava Air in the background to Asian Airlines.
Air Canada 269, ground low, runway 05, altimeter 3022, 8 kilo, taxi Alpha Sierra Echo Golf Hotel, cross runway 33.
Let me slow down a little bit here. And I'm going to go ahead and switch our frequencies very quickly. Okay, I think we're coming up. You know what? This will be fine right here. Yeah, this will actually be a Delta, not Victor. Well, this is going to be Victor, I believe, but you enter a Delta. Unless the signs are just not matching, which most of the time they're not matching what they're actually supposed to be. But I understand why. Okay. before we enter the runway here, I want to get the tower frequency on before we get out of here. Here we are. Alright. Got the tower frequency on in the background. We're going to probably turn it down a little bit. And then, yeah. We'll go ahead and run a couple checklists and then get out of here. So let's take a look. Takeoff runway. Confirmed we're on 33, right? So no issues there.
793 Charlie Tower, a lot of weight, runway 05.
TCAS. We're not even worrying about this because I would rather not run into anybody today. Alright, let's go ahead and take the runway.
Air Transit 187 Heavy Charlie Target number 11010, 15 gust 20. Clear to land runway 06 left.
Clear to land runway 06 left at Transit 187.
Let's take the one here again. We have a new one. 340, 17 knots. Okay, we should be good. It's just cold. But again, we have anti-ice on already. So.
Air Canada 793 Charlie Tower, 1350, 15 gusting 20 knots. Clear takeoff runway 05.
Charlie Tower, United 8127, visual for 5.
Yeah, 8127 Charlie Tower, wind 350, 15 gusting 20 knots. Traffic rolling, clear to land runway 05.
Clear to land runway 5, United 8127.
Let's get the right chart pulled up here. Overshot it a little bit, but oh well. As soon as we get lined up, we'll punch it here. Alright, here we go. We're gonna go Toga. Alright, main Toga, SRS. Runway, max. Okay, 80 knots. Alright, 100 knots, continue. 120. There's B1, rotate. Positive rate of climb. Here comes gear. Okay. Flaps up. We'll continue out here, but we're going to go ahead and probably take a direct to Vivid. Alright, let's take a direct.
You're number 2, flying 737, traffic 2 miles final, wind 350, 15 gusting 20 knots, clear to land runway 05.
Alright, lever.
601 Toronto, very good evening to you.
Climb.
You are number 1, heavy traffic rolling out, caution, possibility turbulence, wind 360, 14 gust 20, clear to land runway 06 left.
There we go.
10 land, fly 1601.
This is just going to be a flyby at waypoint.
Continue Delta 5, contact ground 1219, bye-bye.
We're just going up to 5,000 feet for now.
21, 9 air transfer, so 187.
Wonderful. Alright, let's put the autopilot on for just a second, and then we'll fly up to 10,000. I just want to make sure we have everything set here. That comes off. Probably should turn on the takeoff, that's fine, that goes off. And we're good there. We're going to act like ATC just gave us clearance up to our cruising altitude, which is 39,000. And then we also want to change frequencies to departure here really quickly. No problemo. Alright. Alright. So we're gonna go autopilot off. And we're gonna do an open climb. And we're just gonna get up to 10,000 feet. And actually I'll probably fly up to transition altitude, which is 18,000. Just hand fly it. I really enjoy hand flying the Airbus. When I fly Boeings, I feel like I don't enjoy it as much when it comes to hand flying it. And for a while I was flying only Boeings, so when I came back to the Airbus,
Traffic.
at one point, where's our traffic at?
Descend.
I'm not seeing this traffic. Is it him? Well, that's not what you
Fear
look.
of conflict.
Definitely don't want to. Traffic avoidance. Right there.
Traffic.
We're not gonna hit him though, right? I mean, we might break separation rules right there. Wow, look at Toronto, man. Except for the freaking tower and some of the buildings look so messed up because it's Flight Simulator.
Traffic.
Anyway.
Traffic.
Above or below? Is it this?
Descend.
Must be busy here, man. 2 TCAS avoidance messages. If this was real life, the report that would be written for what just happened would be very long.
Fear of conflict.
But we don't actually have a controller controlling us, so stuff like that's gonna happen. Maybe now we can go up to 10,000. We'll come out of vertical speed mode, which automatically puts you in, and we'll go into open climb. But yeah, with Boeings, like I was saying, with Boeings, I was flying those for a while. When I came back to Airbus, I kind of had trouble landing because, I don't know, the A320 sometimes feels a little bit more squirrely than the 737 does to me, especially when it's not very loaded, so when it's light. But coming back now, after not really even flying anything for a few weeks, I found that the A320, my first couple of landings have been very smooth, you know. Getting down to getting the 5-foot call out, getting things like that. They've been very smooth. I say that, but now that I'm streaming it, I'm probably going to have like the worst landing ever. But it is pretty windy in Boston, so it should be fun. But I absolutely love hand flying these. I have 2 different sets of like peripherals on my desk that I can fly with depending on the plane that I'm flying. Usually with the Boeing, I want to be flying with the honeycomb. Not sponsored, but I love it. Normally I'll be flying with that just to match the realism of the yoke. And then I also will do that for like Cessnas or anything else that has an actual pull and push yoke. The Airbus, of course, I just use a Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight stick. I have it on my left side, the throttle over here on my right, so it genuinely does feel like that's what I'm using. I know that Thrustmaster does make an actual Airbus TCA Captain, like pack, that's an actual Airbus stick and stuff like that. I would love to have that, but you know, as of right now, this is what I'm working with, and I love it. I really do enjoy hand flying this stuff, and that's why I'm going to hand fly it up to probably about 18,000. But no, I absolutely love it though. So there's 10,000 feet. We're going to go landing lights off, and we'll go seatbelt signs off. People can get up and wander the cabin a little bit. But no, I'm really enjoying getting back into flight sim. It's been fun. I did a flight yesterday. Basically, I just kind of pretended that the A320 I was flying was brand new and it was just being produced and delivered to Air Canada. For those who don't know, here in the United States, Airbuses are made in Mobile, Alabama. So pretty much for any North American-based airline that flies the Airbus A320, I think they might make the A319 there too, but pretty much any American-based airline that flies those planes, they're made in Mobile, Alabama. So I did a flight, a delivery flight from Mobile, Alabama to Toronto. That was about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, something like that. And then I flew from Toronto to JFK. My idea for the stream originally was to do JFK back to Toronto, but when I hopped on to Toronto, or hopped on in JFK, it was so laggy that I did not want to introduce streaming to it, because that's more of a performance hit. And it was just really laggy and just wasn't going to be fun to watch, and frankly it wasn't going to be fun to play when everything I was doing was delayed by 3 seconds. So I decided, you know what, we're going to pretend for this stream that this is a different airplane. It's not the same airplane, it's a different one. And we're going to, I'm going to turn the autopilot on since I'm yapping. But I was just going to pretend this is a different plane. This one's going to go to Boston, and then the next stream, or the next video, will probably come back from Boston to Toronto, then maybe go somewhere else. Even living here in the US, I find that my favorite airline in general keeps coming back to be Air Canada. I just absolutely love the designs of these planes. They're so nice. Like, I know I'm flying the Rouge livery right now, but even the regular Air Canada liveries are fantastic to me, especially with the designs they do on the windows with the black and everything. So thankfully their whole fleet is very accessible in this simulator, so I may be able to, you know, kind of stick with it and just keep flying Air Canada flights. Toronto and everything's in my time zone as well, so it is pretty easy to match real flights and things like that. Let's go standard pressure here. Oops. Standard pressure here, and then standard down there. But yeah, their fleet of, like, their Dreamliners, I haven't flown it much, but I've flown it a little bit, and using the 787 to be able to go across the world to the destinations that Air Canada serves would be great. I may actually take a look here. Let's see where they actually do serve with their 787s. So it would be Air Canada 787 routes. Let's see what where they actually serve with this. This doesn't really say, does it? I may have to go to Air Canada 787, and then we'll just go to Flight Aware, and we'll see. .787, let's see, Dreamliner, because that's not what it wants. Let's see, where does it's not going to give me the answer. Fly, it's Dreamliners. So they go to 31 destinations with their Dreamliner, so that gives me a lot of opportunity. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they go pretty much everywhere in the world. There's like Tokyo, Melbourne, Delhi, Brussels, Buenos Aires, Zurich, and more. So yeah, that gives me a lot of options for different locations and things that I would like to do. Let's set that into managed speed here. We need to be back in the nav. So we're still on the arrival. do Bimpa, and then once we get off Bimpa, I am going to let's see, we'll have to fix the computer so that we'll just direct to the next waypoint because we're not getting vectors or anything like that. And then I'll probably, as soon as we get to that point, or as soon as we get to our cruising altitude, whichever, I'll probably step away for just a moment. We'll kind of just sit back and enjoy this, and I'll check in here and there. But at least for a few minutes, I'll step away. But as for right now, everything's looking good. Engines look good. Anti-ice can probably come off. I'm gonna leave it on. And then we're gonna be not too far from our cruising altitude, now about 14 or 13,000 feet away from that. Right now we're just waiting to hit this Bimfa waypoint, and then I'm going to direct to the next one, which is going to be Avon. I could probably delete this discontinuity and just do that instead. Yeah, we'll just delete the discontinuity. So now we'll just go straight to it, and there shouldn't be any issues with that. I'm going to make sure that it makes the turn first before I do anything. And then I'll step away just to grab something for a second. Because I have had this this plane on different occasions do some funky things, and I would just rather that not happen if I can avoid it. Especially when I was first learning it. Like when I was first learning this plane was kind of when I was first learning Flight Simulator. So not only did I not have the understanding of the systems of this airplane, which I really don't even now, because I'm not a pilot, I'm not type rated, I don't work in aviation, anything like that. I just really love airplanes, and particularly this one. But I'm still not really an expert, just enough to be able to fly it in a flight simulator. I know some flight simmers like to kind of have that wet dream in their head of like, if the plane needed a pilot, they could do it. I think if I was flying commercially on an Airbus A320 and the pilot was incapacitated or something went wrong and they had to come into the cabin and ask for somebody that could fly the plane, I don't think I could fly. I think if I just needed to sit in the seat and go like direct to a waypoint that was already in the flight plan, and then descend down to an altitude and like set up the auto land and stuff like that with help of ATC, I could do that. I'm fully confident that if I could maintain my nerves, then I could absolutely do that. But as far as just taking over, having a smooth landing, no. We're not landing smooth. People's backs are getting broken. This plane's going to be out of commission for like a year. But I think I could do it without killing everybody. I do think so. And just general systems things, like if I needed to turn a heading or something like that, I think anybody who plays Flight Sim could do those things. And I think some people who play Flight Sim probably could do a lot more, like land plans and stuff like that. Because I know there have been people that have went and took their first lesson and then kind of already knew what was going on in their discovery flight and didn't even need to be told about it. But I'm not going to sit here and act like flying the Flight Sim makes you a pilot or makes you anything close or anything other than just somebody playing a video game, because I've been playing the sim religiously for the last 2 years, but at the end of the day I understand what it is. So I'm not going to take it for any more than that. Yeah, but I would like to hear anybody else's opinion on that. You know, if you play Flight Sim, do you feel like you could land the plane? Do you feel like you could land safely, whether it's an airliner or a smaller airplane, with or without the help of ATC, you know, whatever it is that you think there. But yeah, so we're at 31,000. Everything's looking good. We're on a good flight plan. We're en route. It's about an hour and 7 minutes for us here, so we shouldn't have any problems with that. I'm going to step away for just a minute here, let me go ahead and let's check right. I'm supposed to descend right after punked, literally a minute after punked. So let's check how far that is away. Punked is 179 miles away. So we got a little bit to go. We'll just sit right here in the cockpit. I'll turn the ATC audio up a little bit so that can be easily heard. And then yeah, I will be back in just a moment.
Phoenix 303, descend 1-2000. Descending 1-2000, North River. Standby 1. Phoenix 303, just want to confirm 1-2000, please. Yep, down to 1-2000 for Phoenix North River. Jazz 786, turn right, getting 150. Right, 150. 619, Toronto departure, Australia, Toronto 3023, the East Hamilton Golf, and I apologize, I missed the runway or the Okay, I'll put in the request in west.
Departure, hello, Rouge 1705, 2,205 pounds.
Rouge 1705, identified, climb 7,000.
Climb 7,000,
Toronto, hello, target 1573, heavy 21-7 for 16,000, we have golf and Target 1573, heavy, Toronto, departure altimeter 3023, this is golf, and yeah, it's not going to be 12, your company ahead is set up 30, so you got that big for your choice.
Okay, we'll take 30 minutes.
That's probably not going to happen. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Jet 76, proceed direct further.
Direct further,
Rouge 1705, turn left near 330.
left at 230, reception on that.
Cargo jet 649, descend 1-4000.
Then 1-4000, target 1.
Jet 786, confirm you're in the climb to 7,000.
No, we're still 5
Climb 7,000, thanks, Jet 786. Phoenix 303, descend 10,000. Descending 10,000, North River. Rouge 1705, turn left, heading 300, maintain 7,000.
300, maintain 7,000. 1715.
Star 30, descend 6,000. Descending 6,000, Phoenix North River. Cargo jet 1553, descending 14.
Then 1-4000, 3156.
Cargo Cargo Jet 619, descend 12,000.
10-1, 2000, Cargo Jet 619.
Jazz 786 traffic, 12 o'clock, about 3 miles opposite direction, level 8,000 feet above you is 737.
Roger, low Condor 24.
Condor 25403 heavy, identified, flying 7,000. Rouge 1705, proceed direct 2 left and on course.
Just 2 to southwest, 2 south,
Rouge 1705, traffic 11 o'clock, 5 miles southbound, is Airbus, so level 8,000 feet above you. Jazz 786, climb 5,000. Cargo Jet 619, just give you vectors for the descent here. Turn left 10 degrees, all fluxing again shortly.
Left 10 degrees, would be heading to 30
Deck, yeah, I'll fluxing for you about 7 or 8 miles. And Cargo Jet 619, descend 10,000.
10,000.
Toronto Terminal, good evening, dashboard 2147, 4,300, climbing 6,000 at Native.
First Condor 2403, turn right direct to Verdo and on course, maintain 7,000.
Right turn direct to Verdo, maintaining 7,000 feet, Condor 2403.
Dashboard 2147, climb to 8,000 feet, proceed direct to Native.
7,000 feet, proceed direct Native, dashboard 2147.
Departure and 42 heavy, 1,400, climbing 5,000, further 706 left.
42 heavy, identified on departure, climb to 7,000.
Climb 7,000 and 42.
Cargo Jet 1573, descend 12,000.
Then 12,000, Cargo Jet 1573.
Dashboard 2147, contact tunnel center on 123.3.
123.3, dashboard 2147.
Cargo Jet 619, back 5.
9,000, Cargo Jet
2101, Cargo Jet 619, confirm 900,000.
9,000, Cargo Jet
Source 303, that was you, Austin, reliable. You can contact tunnel center without request 2827. 2827. Rouge 1705, climb to level 230.
Climb for level 230, Rouge 1705.
Condor 2403, climb to level 230. Air Canada 42, turn right direct to Verdo on course, maintain 7,000.
Right turn direct Verdo on course, maintaining 7,000, Air Canada 42, speed 265 on the swing.
42, right, that traffic for you, 11 o'clock, 3 miles up high, company Airbus, company 787, descend here, 50,000 above.
Canada 42, then.
Cargo Jet 619, turn left direct to Fox now.
Left turn to Monkey. Cargo Jet 619.
Roger, what's your speed?
We have 252.
Cargo Jet 1573, reduce speed 240 knots.
No, Cargo Jet.
That was for Cargo Jet 1573. Cargo Jet 1573, speed 240.
Speed 240, Cargo Jet 1573.
Cargo Jet 619, descend 8,000.
8,000 for 619.
Cargo Jet 1573, descend 10,000.
Then 10,000, Cargo Jet 1573.
Departure Jazz 205, 2500 for 3,000, engine 330.
Jazz 205, climb to 5,000 feet.
Maintain 5,000, Jazz 205.
1705, contact tunnel center 13562.
3562.
Condor 2403, contact tunnel center 12492.
14902, Condor 2403.
Jazz 786, contact tunnel center 12492.
Alright, and I am back. Had to stop and get a quick snack here really fast. It's very typical of what I would do when I'm playing Flight Simulator. I find it's the perfect game to be able to manage your time. And that almost sounds weird to say because, of course, this game can take so much of your time because the whole Earth in the world is in-game is a one-to-one model of the real life Earth. So, you know, I'm flying the real distance in the real time, but I find being able to, there's a lot of downtime. Like there was that whole 30 minutes that, you know, we spent there in the beginning, and there'll be a whole nother 20 to 30 minutes towards the end of the flight that gets busy. But especially on a longer flight, when you have a lot of cruise time, you can go and you can get stuff done. I know when I first started playing flight sim, I actually became like a lot healthier because I would take that downtime and that cruise time to go exercise. I would take that time to go do things that are going to be beneficial to me. So I still do that now, but I definitely used to be like, man, I really want to do this. Let me get a plane up in the air really fast, and then while I'm doing that, I can be looking forward to it. So I definitely did do that for a while, and you know, I still do it now. But you know, being able to just step away for a while is good. And if my mic quality right now doesn't sound that good, I can assure you in the next stream and everything it will sound better. I do have a dedicated HyperX microphone. I'm not using that right now. I'm using my SteelSeries headset, which doesn't have the best sounding microphone. If you do go back on my channel and you watch some of my more recent gaming videos, where I do have live commentary on it, you will notice that the sound quality between that and what I have now is night and day. So I will definitely try to improve upon that and make sure that I'm using my good microphone. I just, to be honest, didn't want to set it up right now because I have the thing to wire out and everything, and also sometimes the headset gives me a little bit more freedom to kind of move around because the microphone isn't that great from distance, to be honest. But yeah, if you have any suggestions or anything like that, or if something sounds off with the stream, you can definitely put that in the chat. Can try to improve upon those things, because I'm pretty new to streaming. This is my only second stream ever. I'm not particularly new to making content. I have been making content for over a year now on YouTube, on TikTok. If you go on TikTok and you look at DTM edits, you're going to see me on there. I made a lot of sports edits and things like that on there that I'm very proud of. So I'm not particularly new to content, but I am new to streaming. I'm new to doing things live. Making a video is a lot different, and for those who don't do it, I would say the main difference would just be how much more planned things can be. Like right now, if I was to like stutter over myself or say something stupid or do something stupid in game, I could just cut it out in a video. You would never know that it happened. In a lot of my videos that I have, there is stupid things that I did and stupid things that I said that you would never know that happened because they were not included in the video. And that goes for any YouTuber. Every YouTuber does that. And it's not like I'm saying anything bad, but it's just makes it smoother sometimes when you cut it out and whatnot. But here on the stream, of course, I can't do that. It's just like, it's live. You think a little bit more about what you're going to say and what you're going to do before you do it. I can't imagine how that feels when you have, a ton of viewers, because I just checked the view count during the break just a second ago, and so far we've had like 13 or 14 concurrent viewers. Like 3 concurrent viewers, people that have stayed, but over the course of the past hour or so, there's been anywhere between 12 and 15 people that have checked in for an average of like 4 minutes or so. I can't imagine having those numbers be like 20,000 or 200,000. So I imagine that feeling is just like amplified so much more. Alright, let's see here. Let's see if there's anything we can get done in the plane right now. We're 67 miles from basically our top of descent. So I'm not too concerned about doing the arrival setup and all the descent setup and everything right now. Typically that's something I would do around 40 miles. We're not quite there yet, so I would like to just start briefing some things up. So if we look at the weather, it's not great in Boston. Let's be honest here. So the wind is 330, or at 330, 17 knots. That's not bad. We'll be on runway 27, so it's a little bit of a crosswind. That's basically what we were dealing with coming out of Toronto. But it's gusting to 29, and that's the problem, because we could be coming down to touch the runway and then just automatically get blown off of it, or blown to the side, and that can just happen very, very quickly. And that's going to be our main concern for the landing, is going to be that wind. But I'm going to be honest, I don't really think it'll be that much of a problem. If we were just review the chart for Boston, I just want to look at the airport setup. So here's Boston Logan International Airport. So remember, we're coming down on runway 27 here. So the wind is 33, so it's coming from up here, moving down that way, and we're landing that way. So we're gonna have wind pushing like basically down on us. Obviously, it won't look like that in that sense, but yeah, we're gonna be on runway 27. The wind is coming directly down 33 essentially. So we're gonna have a pretty strong 17 knot, gust 29 knot crosswind from the right. So we're gonna be kind of getting pushed to the right a little bit. So we might have to kind of deflect and go rudder to the left. We're probably gonna be crabbed coming down. This is gonna be one of my most windy landings. Probably there was a stretch where when I was playing flight sim, there was like a 2 or 3 flight sim stretch, well 2 or 3 like week stretch of flight sim, sorry, that's what I was trying to say, where every single landing it felt like I had just like this incredible crosswind, and I hated it. It was fun the first couple times, but I was flying the Citation CJ4 a lot, and anybody who's familiar with that knows, you know, it's a small airplane with a lot of power, so it's really squirrely, and when you go to try to land it, just even the smallest pullback on the yoke can yank that thing back up if you're going a little bit too fast. I want to say after a while, you know, in good conditions, it's not really that hard to land. I wouldn't say it's much harder than landing any other similarly sized airplane, but in the sim. But man, with wind, it's so hard, because you don't really want to do much with the flight controls when you're coming down on that thing, and with crosswind, you're having to use the rudder, you're having to use the aileron. I find the easiest plane so far to do crosswind landings on is like the 747. It's so big you barely even really feel it, but it's pretty easy. The Boeing 737 I find to be pretty easy, but this plane, the A320, I'm iffy on, because this thing, the A320, at least the fly-by-wire one, I've never used the Phoenix, can get kind of squirrely to me, and can get kind of light. But we're loaded up today. We're not super heavy on fuel or anything, but we are loaded up, about 60,000 kilograms of fuel weight. So I'm hoping it won't be much of an issue. Okay, all right, we're 32 away, so we're kind of going to start everything now. Yeah, we're going to have a pretty gnarly crosswind, so that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. So let's take a look at our arrival. We need to brief the arrival. So the arrival is going to be into runway, ooh, not the approach, we need the arrival. J-Fund 2. We'll pen that. So remember, we're coming in at Ponct. So when we get to Ponct, the first thing we have to do at Minsta, we need to be above flight level 240, so 24,000 feet. We need to be above that. Next, at Seats, we have to slow to 280 and be above flight level 210. Next, Double, above 17,000. Bassez, above 14. No restrictions to J-Fund. And then, I don't know which one we're going off to. Let's see, let me enter the destination data really quickly before we just like completely forget to do that. So weather, so 33017, Oops. Wait, you can't put the gust in there, so we don't have to worry about that. QNH is 29904.
Departure, good evening, Brickyard 3711, 2.5 knots, 5,000 on the runway head.
Also, we're still listening to the Toronto departure right now. I think we're a little out of their range.
Brickyard 3711.
We'll tune into Boston here in just a second. I just never switched it. I'm using live ATC for the ATC you hear in the background. It's just a free website anybody can use. I'm not using VATSIM or anything like that. Soon I will be, but not currently. How far are we? 14. So the first thing we had to do was 24,000 feet, I believe. So that's our. Oh yeah, well, we're good. We don't have to worry about getting down to that because we just have to be above that. We don't have to meet that number. We just have to be at least at 24,000, no lower than 24,000. So the first one that we actually have to, let's look at what we actually have to be at. So after JFUN, we're going the autumn direction. So autumn is going to be the actual first real altitude restriction as far as like where we have to be below something. We have to be either at 11 or 12 or anywhere between there. I prefer to be at 11. I prefer to be at the lower number. So as soon as we reach our top of descent, we'll immediately just descend down. Wow, this looks beautiful. Let's go in third person really fast and look at this. I think that's a great shot at it. This looks like a mess. Well, alright, let's get back in because I don't want to like kill anybody's ears with that. Let's actually go ahead and start descending now. And let me switch the ATC channel that we're listening to here really quickly. Oops. We need to be listening to something near Boston. Not quite the tower yet. We will listen to Boston Center for now. Okay.
I'm sorry, who was checking on?
FedEx 1254, level 230.
FedEx 1254, Boston Airlines, flying maintain level 400.
Climbing in at level 400, FedEx 1254, thank you.
Okay. It's a little loud. Alright, let's continue here. So we're going to be going down to 11,000 autumn. We also have to slow down to 270 knots. Next will be winter. Winter. Wait. Is this like the seasons? There's autumn, winter. Because some of them are named funny names and funny like styles, like themes and stuff like that. I see autumn and winter, but that's all we got. Okay, we'll go down to 8,000 in winter, and then
Emirates 4 Papa Victor, Boston Center, hello.
We'll check into that as we get lower. Let's check the approach. We're going to take the ILS. I mean, I wonder if we can get down to 333 because I don't know if they're using that runway. That's the only thing because yeah, we could change the 33, but we would be like 327. We'd have to offset. It'd be a different approach, obviously. I don't know if they're using it though. That's the only thing. And I'm like, I haven't listened to the ATIS or anything. Usually I don't unless I'm playing Bastion. So I'm not particularly sure. We'll go 27. I kind of want to do a crosswind landing. I could switch to 3-3 and it would probably make more sense. But I kind of want to land with all that wind. And I know some of you guys would probably like to see the landing with the wind, so.
Yeah. FedEx 12 is working.
Clear direct. Can. Direct to Candy for United 120. Siberia
All right.
627, contact Boston Center 135.
We want to look at the approach chart for ILS 27. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and brief this. So, ILS runway 27 at Logan International in Boston. If for any reason we have to go missed, which this is going to be really important in this situation because we might have to go around, we need to make sure we're following this missed approach because it is going to be pretty windy. So if we go miss, we're going to climb to 3000 outbound on the Boston VOR on the 268 degree radial to Bosox. And at that point we'll just hold. So we'll just climb the 2000 on 268, and you can see down here in the middle at Bosox, we'll just hold there. So it's pretty much holding almost, you know, a little northwest of the end of the runway we'll be landing on. But other than that, that should be fine there. There's no offsets or anything like that. Our minimum is going to be 460 feet. That's our decision height. I almost said no return height. That wouldn't make any sense. Let's see, 460. Okay. Minimums are set. We're descending now under 30,000 feet now. You can start to see the greater metro area of Boston, probably. It's just New England in general over there. I'm not gonna make myself look stupid and try to call out locations. But bam, so we have that. Let's actually get some of our charts ready here. It wouldn't be a bad idea to just pin some of these charts. Yeah, so not expecting any runway switches if the wind gets way too bad. So between here and there, if the wind just gets unbearable, like it's not something that I predict we're going to be able to land in, then we will switch to 3-3 right, and we will land on 3-3 right. And there shouldn't be any issue switching to that. It's not going to be that much of an offset. As far as cloud cover and visibility is, the weather is good. No precipitation, no cloud cover. There's a little bit around 9,000 feet, but it's mostly scattered, so we shouldn't have any issues with actually seeing. So if we have to maneuver visually over to the next runway, that shouldn't be an issue to do anyways, or to do. But of course I do want to set it up in the MCDU so that we do have the ability to follow the ILS over there. But shouldn't be any issues. It should be mostly visual, but we are going to follow the ILS down anyways and follow it down by instrument. But hopefully that doesn't happen and we can just land. It's gusting 29, I think, so if it goes above 33 gusts, then we'll go to runway 30 right. That's too much. Or if the actual wind itself goes above 25, that's just my personal minimums. I don't think I can land in that. But anything below those numbers, I'm cool with, and we'll land it at that point. Let's see if we have an updated one. Yes, we do. So the wind has increased. So before it was 330, 17 knots, gusting 29, I think, or maybe 27. Anyways, it was below 30. Our new one now is 320, so it's 10 degrees off now. So it's going to be 10 degrees now to the west. So we're still going to be dealing with essentially the same crosswind, so there's not much going to change there, but now it's 1 knot faster, and also a knot faster on the gusting. So again, still under those minimums I just gave, so we're good. 10 statute miles visibility is fantastic still, except for we are going to have some clouds at 4,300 feet. That could be troublesome for if we do need to switch, because that would be about the altitude that I would think we should be switching runways if we have to. But I'm not really worried about it still. We have a few clouds at 9,000 as well. 9 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees on the dew point, 3002, so we have changed on the QNH. So let's change that, and then here in 2,000 feet, we're actually going to have to put that in. We can kind of see some cloud cover there in the distance, but we're going to be under all that. We can kind of see some of those few cloud cover. So there shouldn't be really any issue getting in there for that. We need to be at 280 knots here. Oh, we're descending way too fast. Because we're supposed to be above 21,000 feet at seats. We're dropping below 19,000 right now. You know what? It's okay. There's no ATC on to yell at us, so it's fine. Let's... What the heck was I going to do? Okay, we're going to slow down. You know what? This is going to slow us down anyways, or slow our descent rate, because the plane's going to pull up. So maybe that'll be good. And it seats. What comes after seats again? Did I pin this one? I did. Okay, above 17,000 at Duble. I think we're gonna bust like all of these.
FedEx 1212, direct to Broadway.
Guys, direct Broadway, FedEx 1212.
But yeah, so far everything's been smooth. That wind is gonna be very fun to do. Let me see if I can
Julius, Alpha,
update the sorry about that. I can update the title to the stream here.
Direct BJ intersection, then direct sod, rest of route change. Rouge 132.
622, clear direct Mills, and climb and maintain, flyable 350.
Alrighty.
622, climb, maintain, flyable 370.
Let's see here. Okay.
Jet speed 107.
Alright.
Normal speed.
Ooh, we need to pay attention.
Flyable 310.
Okay, it's
Normal
supposed to be
speed 310, jet speed 107.
So 302 on QNH. Okay, we're descending way too fast.
30 for 31, say 777.
So now we're at 79. We're going to set this to 1,500. 1,300 actually. Let's just descend a bit slower. Descending way too fast. Because we're not supposed to be at 14,000 feet until, well, the lowest 14,000 feet until Bubba says. So we don't want to do that at Duble, because Duble is supposed to be like 3,000 feet above where I'm at now. So it's not really something I want to mess with.
Okay, climb at 330, out of 510 heavy.
It's a beautiful approach though. Absolutely beautiful approach. We'll sit here and enjoy it for a second, listen to this ATC.
It's a 2 turn 10 degrees to your right, I'll get back to the old shore. Okay, 10 to the right, that's it. SP 107, climb, maintain, flyable 410.
Climb 20, jet speed 107.
Boston, Southwest 582, pass 200 for 230. Southwest 582, Boston Center, good evening, climb and maintain, flyable 280.
Climb, maintain 280 on your route for Southwest 582.
No complaint, I think.
Boston, good evening, that's a 42 Papa, Patrol 377, Bravo Control.
It's just 42 Papa Boston Center, hello. United 57 traffic behind you, no traffic, climb and maintain, followable 330. It's 4 Papa Victor Super, contact Boston Center 135.8, have a good night.
Alrighty. Let's see here. It'd be between 12,000 and 11,000. We're only set to go down to 11,000, so we can just continue our normal descent. It's probably going to speed that up to like 1900. That's what it was at before. So that's probably what we'll speed it up to.
Director Kenny, United 510.
Southwest 582, clear direct is that. Line and maintain followable 340.
Direct physics and number 340 Southwest.
We also need to slow down to 270 at this point. Alright, slowing down to 270 knots. If I can get down to that, please.
Seabird 183, clear direct trace.
Direct trace, Seabird 183.
Just 1 second here. Alright. So next, we gotta get down to 8,000. We'll go ahead and start doing that. 8,000. Okay, we're getting real close now, and I don't think the wind's looking any better. Just an update on that here at the bottom, K-Boss. The wind is gusting 30 knots from 320 degrees, and it's blowing at 18. So, for anybody that wasn't here when I was kind of going over it a second ago, you can see where runway 33 left is here at the bottom, and we're going to be on 27, so that wind's going to be blowing like from the top down, pushing us. Maybe it won't feel that windy, but those are some pretty high numbers, and I think it will feel that windy. So we're supposed to be at 8,000 there, and then, well, between 10,000 and 8,000, so let's slow down to 250 knots. We're pulling up not far from the ocean here now. I didn't mean to throw the screen around like that, sorry. Let's pull up the star chart here once again. Kind of see what we need to be doing.
45, good night, just east 107.
So, 250 knots here at Winta, between 10,000 and 8,000 feet. We're at 9,000, and we're at 250, so we're good. Next, see, are we going to be going Islay or Spized? Which way are we going? Spized. Oh, a little bit of lag there. Okay, Spized. So at Spized we have to be 7,000, 220 knots. So let's set 7,000 there. Let's go ahead and slow down. Let's go ahead and slow down to 220 knots. If we're a little late descending because of that, that's fine. I hate having to slow down so much at the last second. I just don't want to be too fast here, especially because it's windy. What the hell is going on out there? You know what? I don't know what they got going on in Boston, but I shouldn't ask. There is our airport. Right there, there's Boston Logan, I do believe. I might be really wrong about that. Is that Boston? That is, yeah, so that is Boston. Okay, so we're at 220 knots, descending to 7,000, which is exactly where we need to be. And then we're going to be going down to Gabe and then Joby, which is going to get us down to 6,000. We'll go ahead and set that in. Getting pretty close here now. There's the airport, so we're essentially going to go, we're going to pass the airport and then go around on the right side and then land. That's basically what's happening. This would be a good time to pull up the approach chart now and and see what altitude we need to be at to actually capture the glide slope and hopefully land in one piece. So we already briefed this over, but we'll take a look here again. Runway 27, okay, so we need to be at 1,700 feet for this. So I'll wait until we get around. Autopilot and everything is still on right now. Will be until I get pretty close. So we're heading down to 6,000, so we're actually breaking this constraint here of 7,000. We're supposed to be at 7,000 at that waypoint, and we're going below it. Oh well. Let me turn on the correct ATC channel for who we're speaking to. I'll just go ahead and turn on the tower. I think the tower will be fun to listen to in this situation. Okay. Okay, we're at 6,000 feet. So we're gonna go ahead and pass and go out here to the water, and then we'll be coming down for landing here in just a second. There's somebody coming out of Boston. No, they're flying over it. These are all real planes that are flying in real life right now. This add-on takes data from flight radar. Okay, so now we're listening to the real life Boston Tower.
630, runway 33 left, clear for takeoff. 33 left, clear for takeoff, 630. 353.
So they're taking off 33 left is what that sounded like. So if that's being simulated correctly, then we're going to have to be careful, because 33 left crosses our runway. Okay. Getting very close now. Let's go ahead and slow down to 210 to meet the speed restriction on this next waypoint.
Tower on Charlie, crossway 27.
Alright. You can see our plane right there. Let's not do that. Okay. And see right here at this waypoint, we get a manual and then we get this discontinuity. So we'll be able to direct ourselves around. There's Loner, the waypoint right there that we just saw. We gotta be at 3,000 at that, but I'll probably be a little bit below that.
Blue 63, we're ready for departure. Tip of 353, runway 33 left, clear for takeoff. Runway 33 left, clear for takeoff, tip is 333. Exit 630, contact departure, good day. Departure.
Let's get ready for this super windy landing. Like I said, I may not even feel that windy, but I have a feeling it will. This is definitely some of the highest winds I've ever landed in. And like I've been saying throughout this flight, this particular plane gets kind of squirrely in the wind. The A320, I've always felt squirrely in it. It doesn't feel that heavy. But we are loaded up about 60,000 kilos or something like that for the zero fuel weight. So hopefully that helps us and we don't have any issues. So as soon as we pass this CHAG right here, waypoint, we're going to go ahead and start descending down to 1,700.
10 mile left base 27. Very good, 70 well sir, wind 33017, got 27, runway 27, clear to land. 70 runway 27.
So we're just going to continue straight for a little bit. And you can see our yellow plane marker here. You can already see how it's kind of turned, like it's not directly lined up with the green line. That's because there's a wind pushing us from the left. So it's pushing the tail of our aircraft. So it's windy. Let's just put it like that. It's windy. And as you can see in the top left corner here, there's that little arrow. Yeah, that's 30 knots of wind pushing us from our rear left side. So it's going to be pretty windy because it's going to push us the opposite direction when we get turned around. So we're probably going to be crabbing coming in. And I'm not the best crosswind lander. I mean, crabbing happens by itself, but actually getting out of that, because I mean the key is going to be crabbing all the way down, so kind of being at an angle like we're seeing on the map right now, and you can even actually see it changing. Now I'm being faced kind of the other way, but at the last second, I'm going to have to straighten out the aircraft. So that's going to be kind of hard. So we have just a couple of minutes here before we're going to turn, and we'll be landing. We'll be landing in the next 5 minutes or so. I do just want to review the taxi chart. You know, what are we going to do when we get on the ground? So when we get on the ground, 27, I hear on the radio, I don't know if the sim is reflecting it, but they're taking off 33 left. So that's going to cross us. There where that circle is, where it says HS4, they're going to be crossing right there. So we're going to be landing, and then I'm probably going to try to make Echo right here where it says 7001 right above that. We're going to try to make Echo and get off the runway as soon as possible, and then we're going to have to cross to left, which I don't think they're using. So should be an easy taxi once we get on the ground, but like that's going to be the fun part, right? Actually getting on the ground. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and autopilot's still going to be on, but I'm going to take manual control here. We're going to turn to the left so that I'm not making a straight 180-degree turn, because airliners don't like doing that. We have to get to that loner waypoint right there. And so as soon as we turn, we'll start descending now. So there we go. Thrust idle, open descent, descending down to our final altitude now. And then we will go ahead and go direct loner, do it. So here we go. Descending down at about 1,100 feet per minute. Good descent rate for kind of what we're doing here. It shouldn't be an issue. It's actually currently that'll be 122 on the standard time. It says we're going to be there at 124, so that's 2 minutes, 1,300 minutes, 2,600. We'll get down in time. So should not be any issues there. We actually are probably going to be a little low. No, we should be at around 2,200 when we reach that waypoint, which will give us just 500 feet to lose before the next one, which is actually where we're going to capture. As long as we're at 1,700 feet at Ripit, we'll be fine, because the plane's going to bring us down. Let's act like I did not forget to turn the landing lights on like I was supposed to a long time ago. They're on now. We'll go ahead and switch the turn off lights on and do nose to takeoff. And then now we're going to look at some checklists here. Approach, we have the barrel ref set in. Again, 3002 there, 3002 there. And let's set that on the backup in case we need it. So 3002. This is taking us all the way around, so that we're going to turn left here in a minute, and then there's going to be our runway over there. Okay, seatbelt signs. Are they on? Oh, they're not. Those should have been turned on a long time ago. Minimums are set, so our minimum altitude where we have to make a decision on whether or not to land is 460 feet. Plane will call it out for us. Auto brake has to go medium, and engine selector is normal. And then our landing checklist will just be ECAM, take off in blue, which it is. Alright, so we're about to line up here in just a second. You can see right there. So at this point, we're probably going to start doing some flaps here in just a second. I just need to get down to altitude first because we're pretty slow right now. V1, so at our, we can do our first set of flaps under 230, so let's go ahead and do it. Flaps 1. Flaps 1 is down. Flaps 2 can come when we get under 200 knots. So we'll descend in time, so let's go ahead and slow down to 195. And we can see the runway in view. It's going to be that one that we look way off from right now, but that's because we are way off right now. but we'll get lined up in time. Not worried about that. Alright, below 200, here comes flaps 2. Okay, we got a whole new set of checklists to do, so arm the spoilers, ding the cabin. Flaps are not full yet, gear is not coming down yet. We'll deploy our next set of flaps when the situation permits, and then we'll go gear, and then full flaps. That's the goal. It looks like, I thought I saw a light, not that one at the top, but it looked like there was another one going that way, which would indicate that they are taking off 3-3. Because remember, the wind is like pushing over there from where we came from, down. Oh man, and you can see right here in the top left, it says 328/29. It's a lot of wind. A lot of wind. We gotta get down to 177 to be able to actually deploy all the flaps. So let's get down to 175. Let's do 170. I like 170 better. And then we're going to go to performance. Approach mode has already activated itself, which is good. Alright, so we're slowing down. I will, we'll go the next set of flaps, gear, and then full flaps as soon as we get lined up here. I don't really like doing it until I'm actually lined up with the runway. Okay. So far, not seeing a whole lot of gust. I can handle just wind, but the gust is where it can get squirrely. Alright. Alright, there we go. Flaps. Here comes the gear. And the final set of flaps. And then approach mode comes on.
333.
Let's see how bad this wind is. Okay, so we can see our yellow plane here, how far that is off to the right. And if we look straight up at the runway, we can see we're not even aiming at the runway, we're aiming over there. And if we go into third person real quick, that's how hard this wind is. We're going towards the runway, but we're offset completely to the side. So it's, this is going to be tough. Alright, we're going to put the speed in managed mode, let the plane slow us all the way down.
53 box airplane 737, 3 mile final, then 32015, gust 25, runway 27, clear to land.
Okay.
Wind 32015, gust 25.
We're not far now, and it's really becoming apparent how windy it is, because we're literally facing that way. Like, we're crabbing really hard right now. It's 27 knots. I'm still comfortable with it. I wouldn't be surprised if we had to go around. Everything's good as far as the checklist and everything go. Everything's set up, ready to go. And glide slope is alive. Here comes that pink diamond. As soon as that pink diamond hits that yellow line right there, we'll start descending. And then I think what was our missed approach procedure? What are we supposed to do if we go miss? What are we climbing to? 3,000 feet. So as soon as we capture, we can set our altitude to 3,000 feet in case we go missed. Which, I don't like to go missed, but we might. We might have to. Alright, let's lock in here. There we go. And we're descending. So let's go ahead and set our altitude 3,000. Alright. This ought to be fun. Let's pull up our taxi chart here. So we just have it ready to go.
Airbus 333, caution wake turbulence on the heavy Airbus 330, runway speed 3 left, minus the right.
Alright, 33 left, minus the right, caution on wake, watch up to 333.
Echo will be to the right, okay. Alright, here we go.
1568, turn right on Kilo, hold short, runway 4 left, contact ground point enter. Short runway 9,
Getting close now. I'm gonna let the autopilot take it kind of low.
4 left, yeah, 50, 58.
On
4 left. Tower flight 936, contact ground flight 9.
1,000.
all right.
996, tip the 996, Fox Tower, flying an Airbus on a mile final, with 33015, gust 25, runway 27, clear to land.
West Boston looks pretty in the background. We'll see how pretty it looks when I end up in the water here in a minute, if this gets too rough. 24 knots, so it's actually came down quite a lot. The wind has, but it's still, I mean, obviously, look at this, look how far off I am.
58 November, heavy contact
Okay, as soon as we cross these little islands right here, I guess what you would call them, as soon as we cross those, I'm going to turn the autopilot off. And we'll hand fly it.
100 above.
Okay. As soon as we hit minimums, rather.
Minimum
Alright, continue, we're going to land.
400.
Autopilot's coming on. We're going to keep the crab. We're actually going to start straightening it up here real quick.
253, turn right on Kilo, hold short on 4 left, contact ground flight 9.
Look at that wind, man.
$50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 10, 5.
And we're down. Oh, straighten her up. Alright, reversers are coming now. Applying the brakes. And we can make it go right here, I think. Wonderful. And we made the taxiway that I wanted to make. That never happens.
333, runway 33 left.
Alright, let's stop here really fast.
Take off JetBlue 333. Number 0 Zulu, runway 33 left, line up and
Alright.
land cross ground.
Stop. There's parking brake. APU's coming on. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, start. Alright, oops. Alright, here comes taxi light.
Yeah, 1449.
After landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear comes off.
27, cleared to land. Cleared to land 279 at 1449. JetBlue 996, turn right on Kilo, hold short runway 4 left, and contact ground flight 9.
Let's get to our parking. Yeah, so it didn't quite go how exactly how I wanted it to, because I wanted to keep crabbing. I straightened it up really early, and it ended up, my whole plane ended up getting pushed off.
Hello, Picard 4364 outside of Ripid.
Now, I don't know what this guy right here is doing. I'm not on VATSIM, I'm not on any live, so this is just AI, so I can just drive right through him. He's turning. It's fine. Is he?
JetBlue 333, contact departure, good day.
Can I cross this runway?
Good day, JetBlue 333.
Surely nobody's using this runway. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I straightened up way too early, so the whole point of crabbing is so that your whole plane doesn't get pushed off to the side. I straightened up so my whole plane got pushed off to the side, and I had to fix that last one. But ended up working out and being fine. Alright, so we're going to go straight here. We're going to cross another runway as well, and then we'll just park in like Terminal Bravo or something.
Gust 25, runway 27, clear to land. Copy the wind, copy the traffic, 27 clear land, 1571.
There's another JetBlue. I'm going to wait for him because I think he's going to turn in the same spot. Alright, so he's going to turn there. Please do that. There'd be no reason for him to come this way anyways, so he's going to go that way. I'm about to say, please don't stop there. And then hopefully we can beat this other JetBlue. Man, these JetBlue guys are just freaking zooming through here today, aren't they? And we just have to cross 4 left. I don't think they're using 22 right.
Number 0 Zulu
No, they're
Zulu,
not.
contact departure, good day.
Zulu.
Yeah, 1449 to right on Kilo, hold short, runway 4 left, contact ground point niner.
Right on Kilo, short 4 left, .9 United, 1449.
We'll just pull into any gate here. I'm not very picky when I sim about like where I park. Although I probably definitely shouldn't have turned where I just turned.
Tower JetBlue 918, 7 mile final, visual 27.
918 Boss Tower, flying an Airbus 4 mile final, wind 34017, gust 24, runway 27.
I should be talking to ground right now. But
Runway 27, JetBlue 918.
make a left turn here. Slow down. And we'll just pull in here. Just pull in here. Realistic or not, I don't really care. This is definitely not where you would pull in and park at all, but this is where I'm going to park. All right, let's start. We'll start securing the aircraft. Here come the engines.
At 4364, turn right on Kilo,
External
hold short,
power.
runway 4 left, then contact ground point niner.
Turn the APUs off. NTIs has come off. Here come the fuel pumps off. Definitely don't need all these lights on, but I still have one. That's ridiculous. Alright.
Boss Tower, Brigade 5611.
Alright, let's do
Brigade 5611, Boss
Jet
Tower,
bridge.
flying an Embraer 3 mile final, wind
Ground power
34017,
unit, make it look a little realistic.
runway 27, clear to land.
Good land, runway 27, Brigade 5611.
Alright, here come the batteries. And oxygen comes off. And then we will turn. There's the power off. And there we are. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this live stream. If you enjoyed it at all, definitely consider leaving me a like on here, comment, or subscribe to check out future content that I might put out. And let's go inside because I can't hear anything. Just future content I might be putting out more videos and definitely more streams. And I also post a good bit of content on YouTube Shorts and things like that. So yeah, definitely check me out, stick around if you're interested. And if not, thanks for coming by anyways. And yeah, have a good rest of your night. Peace.
Contact ground point niner.
Tower, good night, American 2306, ILS, runway 27.
American 2306, Boss Tower, you're flying an Embraer 4 mile final, wind 35014, gust 24, runway 27, clear to land.
Runway 27, clear to land, copy to wind, copy to traffic, American 2306.
The 918, turn right on Echo, cross runway 4 right, hold short, runway 4 left.